Welcome to BONN PARK. I'm Sara.
And I'm Marshall.
Hi, I'm Gloria Vaughn, and I am master of many trades and here to talk to you all about heart on Valentine's Day.
Welcome to BONN PARK.
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 Vaughn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yay. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I love that. So we're recording this on Valentine's Day. You came in, big smile on your face, wearing a heart-covered dress with flowers and ready to take on this interview. And I'm so excited that you're here to talk to us.
Thank you. Yeah, I purposely picked Valentine's Day to come and talk to you because I wanted to, amongst all the blabbering that we will do, and I'm so excited to, there's not enough time to talk to you, honestly, but I wanted to talk a little bit about coherence and being heart-centered today on Valentine's Day.
Tell us about that.
Oh, okay. There's so much to tell you about that. I guess I just want to tell you that I'm a functional medicine health coach and I work at FM Uptown with the amazing Dr. Christiana Rakic.
Hi, Christiana.
Dr. Ben Snyder, who's been a guest on your show.
Hi, Ben Snyder.
Dr. Tina Rogers.
Hi, my friend Tina.
Yes. And they've been super inspiring on being heart-centered. We're all born heart-centered. It probably gets knocked out of us, especially in the years of being a teenager and in school. I never knew what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to love. I'm just here to love. That's what I always told people. So fast forward to these days, Functional Medicine Uptown brought in a doctor named Dr. Mitchell Abrams to teach us about the science of heart and coherence. So being a yoga teacher, I already knew all about meditation and all about relaxing our bodies in the parasympathetic nervous system. Feel it for a moment. Let's all take a deep breath in. I did feel
it when you just went.
Yeah. Relax the shoulders, right? Yeah. So good. So there's a lot of science behind that. And Sara, it translates even to what you were telling me about earlier, being in Glee and singing music.
Yeah, I'm a Gleek now. I'm singing in the adult.
I love it. I actually want to know more about it.
I'm singing in the adult pop therapy group. It's called, run by Amanda Kine and Steve Lehman, and singing with 109 other grown-ups in a Emmanuel First United every Monday night. And boy, is it doing something for my soul.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah. So what you're feeling is coherence. So let me explain coherence.
What I'm feeling, Gloria.
There's all kinds of ways to get into coherence. You're experiencing coherence. So coherence is when we know we have a heartbeat, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. The space between our heartbeat is called our heart rate variability. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
I have not.
Okay. It's all good. So our heart rate variability communicates with our nervous system and tells it we need to either to be in a state of fight and flight or rest and digest. Okay. So when we are stimulating our vagal nerve and our nervous system and putting it in that either that joyful place or a calm place or a state of love and appreciation, we put our whole body into what we call a state of coherence. It's so cool. So every system in your body, if you think like cardiovascular system, nervous system, endocrine system, so our hormones, everything gets into like this optimal place of function and functioning together. So it all works together like a symphony. So singing, deep breathing, practicing gratitude, being in a state of love can all put us into this state of coherence. And then here's the best part of coherence is that not only will you be in a state of coherence, but your heart projects this like electromagnetic energy field. And when you're in a state of coherence, it's projecting it at least a few meters away from your body. So you have a chance to drag everyone else into that heart space with you at the same time. So you can imagine singing with 109 other singers and everybody's vibing in coherence together. It's super powerful and magical as you experience, that feeling. You didn't know it was called coherence.
I didn't.
But there's actually scientific.
Sorry, continue your thought, and then I want to tell you something. Okay,
yeah.
There's scientific like evidence that this is okay. So I, after one of the rehearsals, local musician JP Sunga, he's been on our show before, stopped me and he was like, "So." At one point, I looked back to your group because we're all in different groups. I am a sort of high mezzo in the group, and JP said he looked back at me and he said, "I looked at you singing in that group of people over in your section." And I could see happiness around you. He said, you looked so happy. He said, I could see it like floating around your body. You were so happy in that moment. And I was like, JP, I was like, I haven't felt this happy in so long. Like I didn't have words to I don't have words now to talk about.
You're tapping into your heart.
I am. Yeah,
absolutely. And you feel it in every single cell in your body, right? It's amazing. More on that, I work with Next Gen Health. That's Dr. Mitch. And he has a nonprofit organization, a mission to bring coherence to especially healthcare workers, as well as to create new, I really don't want to speak too much for him today, but to help remodel the Western healing model to bring that to patients as well, because being in a state of coherence can increase your healing time and create better outcomes for patients. And I just wanted to tell you that it's about, when you do it with deep breathing, it's about learning to quiet your mind and tap into your heart to access optimal potential for wellness and peak performance. And it goes on and on and on. So I would really like to share more about Next Gen Health with you guys, maybe at another time too. It's just incredible. So what I do with them is help lead heart coherence sessions. So they're just simply walking you through sort of a 5 to 8 minute gratitude meditation. And then we do this on Zoom. We do this in groups. And then we stay on for 20 to 30 plus minutes and just do deep breathing together. But doing that in a group, even over a computer, we're sharing coherence with each other. And so the power of group together, just like in singing, just magnifies the feeling and the outcomes for the body. It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's a beautiful world. I love singing too. I wanted to ask you, do you take not good singers at Glee?
They took me, so I don't know. Yeah. They took me, and it's a big group of people. So somebody said something last night at rehearsal, which was they can't imagine what the next session. This is the first time they've done an adult group, so they said they can't imagine what the next session will look like. It'll probably be a huge group. They'll have to have multiple.
I want to come.
Yeah. I'll let you know when the next tryouts are.
Have you heard of in Winnipeg, Manitoba? They have different kind of choirs, and they have a death metal choir.
Shut the front door.
I know.
Seriously?
Do you want to start that here?
Kind of.
I don't sing death metal, but
we
apparently
could.
It's super fun. There's a dog.
What's upon the cross?
Yes.
Oh my God, Marshall, do you want to start a death metal pop therapy? Death metal group?
I love guttural death metal vocals, yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
I would love to sing War Pigs. That would be my...
that would be amazing.
So good, yeah.
The vibrations from singing, any kind of singing, but especially the guttural and the throat vibrations are super healthy for your body. And it goes back to toning the vagal nerve, in toning your vagal nerve, you strengthen your vagal nerve, you strengthen your body's ability to have stress resiliency, which is to control that heart rate variability. I sound really sciencey and nerdy.
I love it.
Okay, cool. What it does is it helps you, when you're in a state of stress, you'll be able to take yourself out of a state of stress easier with vagal tone, with practicing deep breathing, with practicing singing and death metal. Yeah. And also, I just want to mention, I love chanting music. One of my favorite songs is, it's called Hallelujah, and it's by Satnam Kaur, and it's a live version. And I mean, we should play it and sing it sometimes.
We
It'd be
should.
amazing.
I love those things as well. Like I love Dead Can Dance. So it was big in the 90s.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite go-to songs for stress relief is Lacrimosa, like Mozart's in the choir version. And like it's... I found it on playlists on Spotify that say things like music to die to or whatever, but it's just, it's so epic. It's such a wonderful, because it's a huge, painful song that ends in an exaltation at the top. You know, it's great. It's great.
Wow. If we had more hours in the day and get you to play that too. Right now it would be our background music. It could be.
Maybe we should put it in there. I don't know if we have the rights.
Sarah, I met you at my boot camp. I
did.
want to give a shout out. And I want to relate that to a health journey. A few people that have
I want to clarify though, Gloria, I was there taking photos and I was not boot camping. I used to be a boot camper and I should be a boot camper again.
I thought you did stuff.
I haven't done some
Did
stuff.
you climb the hill with us?
I did climb the hill with you with the camera. So bonus points.
Bonus points with, no, it's all good.
Okay,
I
continue.
love, please interrupt me anytime. The best conversations are the kind we're talking really fast to get our ideas
That's
and
me.
excitement out. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Sarah could jump back into boot camp pretty easily.
Yeah.
If we go for a walk, she's always walking faster than me. She doesn't walk upstairs. She runs upstairs. She usually
Two at a time.
She usually has equipment on her. You know what I mean? If she's up, she's down. You know,
She's got
She
a
turns
giddy
it around.
spirit. Yeah.
yeah,
She goes.
very spirited.
I don't remember exactly what we're talking about, but we had this moment where we met on the hill, mid-hill. I guess you were taking pictures. And then we just had this moment of connecting, and it was awesome. Your big, beautiful smile, eyes.
Jeez,
like
thanks.
just a great human heart connection there on the hill. You never know. Okay, when I started that boot camp, I was on mat leave with my second child, 6 months in, and thanks to my much improved health with Dr. Christiana Rakic, I was bored and thought, well, I'll start a boot camp. I was a personal trainer on mat leave. We weren't allowed at that time to work outside of the gym. We had to be exclusive to the gym. And I just said, screw it. Lots of people are reaching out to me. So let's meet at this hill and do our thing. The first year, a lot of people I didn't know from the community came and became such a great community group. People came for the social. The exercise was the side thing that we did while we were there. And then the following year, I thought, well, I'll run it again. So I didn't advertise paid advertising, but I sort of word of mouth and Facebook. And I'll be damned if I had 100 people sign up. And I was like, oh my God, like I don't even know what to do with 100 people. I divided into a couple of classes twice a week, so they had options to come. I had a megaphone, which was actually an epic fail because it didn't work half the time. I had a lot of interesting people come out and try it, and then so it just kind of built on those 2 years, and it made it. I think we did it 9 years. I think I took a break for year 10, 11, and then last summer I teamed up with my good friend Jacqueline Waddy.
Of Jacqueline Waddy Consulting.
Yes, of Jacqueline Waddy Consulting. Fierce woman and inspiring, beautiful soul. So she wanted to
Lover
start
of hip-hop.
teaching. Lover of 90s hip-hop,
Yep.
especially old school, and dances while we do our workouts in boot camp. She is a force to be reckoned with at Hill Killers Boot Camp, by the way. Hill Killers Boot Camp Kitchener on Instagram.
Hey, what is Hill Killers Boot Camp?
Well, hey, Hill Killers Boot Camp is a fitness class. I hold it at Mount Trashmore, aka McLennan Park, around the backside of the hill. It was born out of boredom and just getting a group of friends together. And I believe I'm going into the 13th year. It runs from May to August. And any fitness level can come. I teach inclusively, whether it's yoga or fitness, I teach inclusively. So my motto is fitness can be fun and anyone can come to this boot camp and get something out of it. I'm not there to make people puke. I'm there to give them some movement. So I provide, a decent warm up. We do climb the hill. We climb it. If you're new and you can't climb the whole hill, then we stop and we breathe. And if you're an ace already and you can run up that hill, run, go, my friends. Jacqueline will meet you at the top. We do some muscle work. So I bring kettlebells and exercise bands. We do another hill. We'll do a bit of core work or mindfulness. And then we we usually end with some yoga, some stretching, some deep breathing, and tapping into some form of positivity, whether that's gratitude or appreciation for what we just accomplished. And just like in yoga, I really preach to people, am I allowed to say that word? Letting go of judgment, competition, and expectation, and just being there for that class that day. Instead of thinking, oh, I need to work out. A lot of people work out to try to be leaner, and that's great, and that will definitely help. But instead of working out for a mission, why don't we just show up that day and say, I just need to move my body, I need to breathe, I need to be outside. So we'll do it in beautiful weather. We'll do it in cooler weather. I do not teach in the rain anymore. I used to, not anymore. It's too muddy there. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. It's always an eclectic group of people. You never know who you're going to get. Men, women, teenagers, I don't care. Try to keep it very affordable for people. And if people have, if they're financially challenged, I will meet them on their level too. It doesn't matter. I'm not there to be rich. I'm there to bring movement to people and enjoy community. So that's Hill Killers. Yeah.
Before we
Marshall.
started, we were chatting.
Yeah.
And you were starting to tell me about how there was this kind of pivotal moment where you might have been looking at surgery.
Yeah.
But you found an alternative, and it's probably shaped and changed the way you think about everything.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Like everything in my life. When I was pregnant in 2006 and 2008, I had a lot of severe allergies, and I was pregnant in the winter, so it didn't make sense. Like it wasn't hay fever, when we couldn't really identify what it was, and it was really debilitating and getting worse and getting worse. So at the cusp of worse, I would just start having sneezing fits, like 50 to 100 sneezes in an hour, go through a whole box of Kleenex. My sinuses would close off for 2 days. It was really painful and a real drag, headaches. It turned into more breathing issues. My mouth started getting itchy. I started getting purple dots all over my throat and chest. It was really scary. We never knew. They were so random when it was going to happen. I, waited 8 months to see an allergist to tell me that I had no allergies. I waited another 6 months to see an ear, nose, throat specialist to tell me they were considering surgery on my sinuses. I knew at that point, like, that wasn't going to be cool. My mom had always told me, never get that surgery if they ask you to get that surgery. And this was long before this happened. So somebody had told me to go and see Dr. K. And I was like, well, I'll try anything at this point. So I had the second child. I saw her 6 weeks postpartum. At that time, she explained a lot. I don't know how much stuck with me. I was sleep deprived and still in pain and suffering. And she asked me to do an elimination diet. She said, unfortunately, she couldn't give me a lot of supplements to help speed up that process or help my body because I was nursing. And I was like, that's okay. So I agreed to this elimination diet. I'd never done anything that strict before and that
I've
severe.
done a few of these. There can be quite a process.
Yeah. No gluten, dairy, sugar. I had to do no peanuts, no vinegar, no processed foods. Anyways, within 6 weeks, I stopped having allergy attacks. And then within, I guess, the next 6 weeks, I was feeling great. And side effect, I had lost at least 30 pounds. I gained a lot of weight in my pregnancies, which I'm not ashamed of at all, even though I was ridiculed and people complained at the gym that I worked at that this shouldn't happen to a personal trainer.
Oh no, I was so proud. I broke the 200 roof. I was like, yes, amazing.
Yeah. You with hormones and hormonal imbalance and the trials and tribulations of pregnancy, anything goes. Okay. And so, but getting back to it. So within 3 months, I had felt so good. And she's like, okay, well, we can start reintroducing some things now. And I was like, no. I feel so good. This is how I want to be. This is how I want to feel. So I stayed on that program for about 9 months and then gradually started reintroducing foods. But so at the 6-month mark, I felt like such a rock star, and I was on mat leave, and I was bored, and I was like, I've got to do something. So started boot camp, had a great year, and started to think about life more holistically after that. Stopped wanting to go to the doctors as often, and look at alternate ways to heal myself, not dissing doctors or the medical system. But, I think back to when the allergies first started, I kept being put on antibiotics for sinus infections. And with what I know now, fast forward to today, we know that antibiotics are damaging for your gut. My gut was unable to digest well anymore or assimilate food anymore. So then that's the breakdown, and then the toxicity level in your body increases. And then with that toxicity level, and your body set up to store fat, hoard fat, really, and no fat shaming here. It's just, it's an unhealthy circuit that continues and continues. And my energy was down, my moods were down. They wanted to put me on antidepressants, and they were trying to tell me, well, you just had a baby, maybe I have some postpartum depression. And I was like, guys, I just don't feel good. So I really owe that as a turning point to my life. Started studying more holistic healthcare. Started teaming up with Dr. K a few years later down the road, teaching fitness for some of her health groups. And finally one day she said, look, I want you to take this program. It's expensive. It's a year long. It'll change your life. It's called Functional Medicine Health Coach. It complements what functional medicine doctors do. And I had to think about it. It was really expensive for us. We had, young children. I waited months to tell my husband. I didn't tell him right away. It didn't feel good holding it in as a secret, but we remember we went to Paris that year, and we were by like a beautiful building, and he was saying, we're really like looking about our lives. We're both in our 40s, and he's like, there's some things that I want to do. I want to do a couple of trips, and one of them might not include you. And
I love this honesty.
Yeah. It was more like a friend trip that he wanted to do, and it involved hunting and just getting away with the wilderness. And I was like, oh, I totally support that, honey. By the way, I want to take this $9,000 course. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of stopped at, he did not see it coming. But then my husband's an amazing guy, because he's always been supportive of, growing in my career.
That's wonderful.
In life. Yeah.
I like that idea. I heard somebody talking about, big life changes on the radio the other day, when there's upheaval and things. And they said, if you can think of it more like, I'm growing, I'm changing, you know what I mean? Explain
always.
People like that, and get rid of the shame, you know what I mean? Of, I think they were talking specifically to changing professions, when you've had a career and it's very scary, the idea of leaving some job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you want to do something else, but you've always done this is what you went to school for. This is what your family expected you to do and be.
Yeah.
And it talked about how if you can get it in your head and in your heart and explain it to other people, I'm growing, I'm changing. That's what you're seeing, and not.
I think I
quit.
remember like,
No, Marshall, thanks for saying that. I need to hear that.
I think 20 years ago, they started talking about how people will change their careers over a lifetime, but we're really just starting to see it, I think, in the last 5 to 10, and especially now with the result of the last 3 years and what's gone on in society. A lot of people are really like, what do I want to do? What makes me feel good? Like what you guys do is amazing.
Well, a friend just said to me the other day, we were talking, and he said, wrote a big letter, took it to his boss. I don't want to work 5 days a week anymore. I'll work 3, because I want to do other stuff. I have other exciting things. And it's either going to work or it's not, right? And it's like, if you don't do those things, then you're just going to find yourself in the same place next year.
Like, don't you love seeing like LinkedIn posts that are like, hey, I'm going to quit my job? Or the new one that I love is like, today's my last day at this company because we all got laid off. Like that, we never talked about this stuff before.
Right.
And it's now all out in the open. Yeah. And then I saw, of course, a meme that was like, excuse me, interviewer, we're not explaining the gap in my resume. Let's talk about your gap in hiring.
Sweet.
Like just this love. I love this reversal of what we thought we had to do doesn't have to be the way. And of course, we're living in a time and place right here, these people who we are, the three of us at this table, where we can make choices like this. Right? We're lucky enough and fortunate enough and privileged enough to make these choices.
Honestly, doesn't it make your heart happy to know like that you get some choices in life, that you have privilege in life. And really every single day we wake up is such a privilege. I know, a super deep moment. So I'll take a deep breath.
Did you take one, Marshall? I thought you were holding your breath for that one.
Right. I think I'd be the worst person to try to meditate. Like,
you do meditate. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Marshall just looked at me like, now where are you going, Sarah,
Yeah.
with this? What shit is going to come out of your mouth right now? So I ride you sometimes for your trips to the mall or your long walks or whatever, or how the amount of time and the pace that you take to do something.
Yeah, I'll walk
That
around.
is
I'll walk
meditative
around. I'll
for
walk
you.
around Walmart and go down every aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your form. Like when you need to clear your head and leave your house and be inspired for an article or think about our show or come up with these ideas for the films that we make.
Yeah.
That is your meditation. I
That's
believe
beautiful.
that.
For pointing that out, I sometimes wonder with Walmart is packed with cameras now watching, right? And I often
Do you pose for them?
Yeah,
You should.
I often wonder, like,
I
wonder if there's a loss prevention person going, "What is this guy doing?"
Probably.
because he's been in the store
They
for.
probably think that you work for their boss.
Yeah, he's been in the store for 1 hour.
Yeah.
He hasn't bought a single thing, and he's gone down.
he's tall.
He's gone down every aisle, including the babies aisle with the diapers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And the little children's toy aisle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And candles
That's-
and boots and just what I'm doing is I'm existing in that space, and I'm thinking and I'm walking. And I'm looking,
meditating,
and I'm looking at all the soup cans, right?
Yeah.
I don't need soup. I'm not going to buy soup from again, anyways. But
No, good.
but yeah, that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
You are spending time with yourself,
Yeah.
and that is beautiful. And that in itself is meditation, Sarah. And that is something that, like, people that do struggle with meditation, formal meditation, breathing and that, they have a hard time sitting still. They need distraction. And it's actually kind of interesting that you choose Walmart, where there's a million distractions in front of you all the time, but that's where you find solitude. It's really cool.
Yeah.
You don't even distract with a cart. You just walk.
I just walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look at the ceiling. Sometimes I notice the patterns of the ceiling. I notice the smallest things. I probably know the store better than some people who spend their days there.
That's really neat.
Because I'm looking at different things.
You could be a consultant.
I was going to say that. Is this a new career for you?
Yeah.
I'm always trying to monetize Marshall's activities.
Conestoga Mall too has like the same group of people every morning walking.
And you're one of them.
before the store is open.
Yeah.
I love the
And you
stimuli.
are.
I love that sound. I've told Sarah I love that sound of the gates opening and the doors opening at 9:30. It's
See, that is
never get tired of that.
the appreciation of that too is like a big moment in meditation and coherence for you. It's beautiful.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I on a side note, I teach yoga, and I want to shout out to my gym, Learn to Master. It's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai studio, and I work with a lot of athletes that are always go, go, go and driving hard, and their nervous systems, don't get the break that they need. And it's the same thing. I teach them like to do yoga and meditation, and I do that there 2 to 3 times a week. We have to just get comfortable spending time in our body and with nothing, just with peace. And that's your peaceful place.
Yeah, thank you.
I teach yoga on Sundays at Learn to Master, and it's free and it's open to the public. So anyone's welcome to come. My yoga is very inclusive. I don't expect anything from anyone. We let go of judgment, competition, expectation, and we just move our bodies. And poses look different in every single body, and that's okay. I really want to bring this inclusive movement of yoga to the masses.
Thank you so much for sharing that for us, for our listeners. And
Yeah.
you also just like let me forgive myself for something. I went to like a super advanced hot yoga class at my gym a couple years ago. So this is something I've been carrying for a couple of years. Let's release it here on the podcast. So this would have been pre-pandemic actually. So let's say 4 years. And I would normally go to a beginner or intermediate, but this one was super advanced. And about halfway through, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to make up my own moves here. I'm not going to leave. I'm just going to try and do what I can do. And the teacher came and like tapped me on the shoulder and whispered to me, "Are you in the wrong class?" I was like, yep. Yep, I am.
on.
But like, can we not point it out and just let me like do what I can do, and then I'll
Yeah.
skedaddle afterwards, But just I wasn't embarrassed or anything. I was just like, yes, I am in the wrong
Yeah.
class and I'm failing horribly.
No, you know what? And you're not embarrassed because you're confident and comfortable with yourself. But imagine if it was somebody that's not, right? And
Could
that
have
could
ruined their
be,
day.
and their relationship with yoga.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. I did my yoga training. I've got about 300 hours, and it's all been through, it was Yoga Fit Canada at the time. They're Yoga Fit International now, or incorporated now, but they're taught in blocks as opposed to all together. So I did it over a few years. And the number one, that's their mission, is like, let go of judgment, competition, expectation, and make it accessible for everybody and everybody, right? Sometimes I offer challenges, but I also offer alternatives. And it's important to know, like, yeah, a pose, your warrior pose might look different than Marshall's pose, but it doesn't matter. My tree pose, as an instructor, I have horrible balance. And it has not to do with my lack of trying, but more as to where my spine and hips are. So when we know that going into things, like when I do tree pose, I might keep my toe on the ground. Sarah, you might have your foot right up against your inner thigh. And Marshall,
I do.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Marshall, you might have yours against your calf. And, sometimes I even hold the wall, and I always bring people over to the wall if they find balance a challenge. We're only going to learn and grow through trying it. So I don't want to scare anyone away from trying it. And at the end of the day, whether you're successful or not, you've probably just spent an hour inside your body, loving yourself, practicing positivity, breathing, and just letting go of life.
Having said that, I have family members who have done yoga at times of healing, coming out of maybe a very difficult situation, and find it can be a very intense experience as well. They don't regret it, and they don't feel any harm was done, but rather they have to really feel whatever it is.
Well, so interesting you bring that up. Yoga Fit offers a lot of courses, and I've done about 100 hours in this. It's called the Warriors program, and it's trauma sensitive yoga. And it can help people with mental health disorders, or people that have had traumatic experiences, or, what it is that, and there's a lot of doctors, there's a lot of schools that believe in this, that the body holds on to trauma and memories. And in starting to move your body, it's like somatic therapy can do that too. But in yoga, when we start to move our body, we start to release this stuff. For instance, like our chests a lot of us work in front of our body on computers, drive. Our chest can be really tight. When we do a lot of chest openers in yoga, we can be releasing, connecting to our hearts, which is beautiful, but releasing maybe some sadness or grief that we've been holding in that area. And our hips also hold a lot of tension. And I mean, yoga is all hips and shoulders and spine when it comes down to it.
Sarah's actually been talking about this as well, like
First childhood experiences.
Yep.
I was trying to get you to read The Body Keeps the Score, which I don't know if you have to, but
that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah. So I have like a score of like a 5, I think, or something like that. Marshall, you'll be the same or higher for sure.
Oh, you guys.
Oh, we're okay. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We found each other.
Yeah.
We make this show. It's our therapy.
You heal. You're healing.
We're healing.
I wrote Sarah an email a while ago. It said I was wandering around in the dark, and then I found Sarah.
Yeah. And sometimes you describe it as you were in a creative hole.
That's
like
what
a
I'm
dark
talking about.
pit.
It was a real creative kind of just. I was done creatively. I did not have the things around me, or I had abandoned the things around me that feed and inspire my creativity. And then when you get down that low, you kind of just resign to the idea that I guess I'm not making art anymore.
Aww.
And
I reached in.
Yep.
Pulled you out.
Yep.
But
good.
I couldn't have done any of this had I not found you in that hole.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, because we found a real creative partnership, and like, oh, okay, well, I can do this part because I'm kind of strong here, right? And I've been doing this over here for a while. And Sarah goes, well, I can do this part, right? But I've been able to quite do it.
We couldn't do it alone.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There's opportunity and adversity all the time. It's hard to take that positive perspective at the time, but yeah, this beautiful project, this beautiful thing that you guys have is born out of that.
It is. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And happy for our hearts.
Happy
we look
for
forward
your
to our time
hearts.
together. I'm bossy and I push Marshall around and tell him we should be doing this and that. And he says we got to slow down and focus on these things. And it works.
If I had 3 words to describe Sarah,
Oh God.
Fun, but rigid. We decided.
We decided that yesterday.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm getting less. I know, right? I'm getting
I'm
less rigid.
surprised.
Well, we run a business together, right? This is not
Yeah,
like
so
we're not pulling a salary
Sarah's-
from BONN PARK.
Yeah,
but
Sarah's moving us constantly. Like,
Yeah.
"Nah, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Now we
I'm
need to do
constantly
this.
looking
Now we
at
need to do this."
the
Yeah.
bigger picture.
Yeah.
And Marshall, and I'm trying to keep you on track.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're constantly pulling me back and saying, "Let's slow down. Let's slow down." You know.
Be careful what you wish for and how much you bite off and all those
Oh, I know.
cliches, right?
Yep.
But I'm just getting such a great sense of the balance you bring to each other
Thanks.
here too. Yeah. And that's why there's so much synergy. That's where the synergy comes
Well, I've seen
from.
it. I've worked with other people who they don't seem to take a lot of joy in what they've just finished doing. You know what I mean? They're just on to the next thing. I think, well, what are you just going to keep going like this? Like, why don't you relax for a bit? And
We're
kinda-
constantly celebrating what we're making.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
I love you guys. That's what we all need to celebrate every day. Celebrate the small wins every step of the process. It really doesn't matter if it was good or bad. We should celebrate.
Thank you for saying that, because I celebrate, like, I'll make myself a green smoothie, right? First of all,
Yes.
Sarah,
Good.
celebrate. Sarah's winning. And if it's the exact right amount for the cup, I'm like,
Win.
look what I've done. I'm celebrating. I've made the exact right amount of smoothie for this day. It's a win. It brings me joy.
It is a win.
I know.
It reminds me of a really stupid story, and I don't know why I'm going to share it.
Share it,
It's going to
please.
be funny. Okay, so I'm not known to be liking housework too much, so I'll create little celebrations if I'm doing housework. And one thing is, like, one thing I apparently don't like to do is the silverware out of the dishwasher, put it away. So I made a game and I can celebrate, and I don't always win the game. And it's, you take all the knives out first, and then you take all the spoons out first, you take all the forks out last. And you would think that's the easiest game, but
It's
I
not.
often don't. I miss one here or there, and I'm like, oh, we didn't win today. But the day we win, man, life is good. Stupid story, but really that's probably the story of a survivor right there.
BONN PARK is made possible with the support of the Waterloo Region Community Foundation, the Kitchener Public Library, our local sponsors, and you, our loyal listeners.
We make this show in Sarah's kitchen. If you like it, please rate and subscribe.
That helps us get the word out to more listeners.
The BONN PARK theme song is by Alan Lung. Sarah and I are super excited for season 4 and all the amazing shows we're going to bring you.
We're also really excited about our secret side podcast called An Unscripted Spectacle, Wrestling with Wrestling. And it's not actually about wrestling.
No, it isn't. It's about a lot of things.
Mostly life.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of laughter.
Yeah, there's tons and tons of laughter.
We're incredibly proud of it. So please check it out on all your streaming platforms. An unscripted, I can't say it. Can you say it?
An unscripted spectacle, wrestling with wrestling. Meow, 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 meow.